Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Arlo the Alligator Boy. Now, much like most Netflix animated films, they kind of found talent that wasn't being really well utilized or promoted, and finding this, which was directed and I'm assuming created by Ryan Kriego, I think that's how you say his name, who worked on Sanjay and Craig and various other shows, and hasn't really been given this big of an opportunity before, which is pretty cool, as well as most of the animation being by Titmouse. And this is only the second time they've gotten to do a feature film, do the animation all throughout. They worked on various films. They even worked on like the recent Bo Rat, to Freddy Got Fingered, to their other feature film Nerdland, and they did like some stuff on Teen Titans Go. But this is fully animated by them and Netflix, and it really pops and shows. But also, I think what Arlo the Alligator Boy is really good at is kind of being a really good version of the kind of fun kid sort of road movie where you have a protagonist who along their journey collects various friends and gets a whole cool group together to kind of go on this mission. And you have Arlo, who is an alligator who lives in a swamp. He's lived there his whole life, and he wants to go find who his real parents are, because he's lived with this woman his whole life, where he suddenly showed up in the swamp, and he's had a good life in the swamp, but he wants to find out. So he goes on a journey, and he meets his ragtag group of friends along the way. When I was watching it, I watched it with my daughter. It was a family movie night watching this movie, and it's a really fun movie. I think the animation really pops. I think it's really good at knowing its characters, and it's like a diverse in terms of different character designs and body types and everything like that, which is really great for a kid's thing. They both like have a lot of fun with that in terms of design. Like they literally have a pink poof voiced by Jonathan Van Ness, which I really liked. The girl Birdie, who's like this very large teenage girl in the film. I like that we're actually showing different kind of female body types in animated film, particularly one for kids, because I think that's actually like really healthy. I know they make a lot about her being bigger, but they also make her a very compelling character, and that's probably a lot healthier for kids nowadays. In fact, I really like that. I actually keep thinking about how cool that actually was, because I see like almost every major animated film, and we really don't see that, particularly for movies with kids. And I thought that was like actually fairly progressive, because that is one thing I really liked about this movie, is the character of Arlo is so positive all the time, and trying to get everyone together and work together and kind of show like through positivity, like they can all work together and he can achieve his goal, which is to find his parents, but also, get them all to New York City. Like basically like, this can work out for you too. I'll get you out of here. We can do good. I don't know. It just has this like positive spirit throughout it, which I think is like a very hard thing to maintain, but this movie does the entire time. It's interesting because when I was watching this, it occurred to me really early on that this is just sort of a version of the Muppet movie. You have this green swamp creature who goes on a journey, collects people along the way, and then eventually they get there, as well as like there are people who are trying to capture him and make him into an attraction, much like the people who are trying to make Kermit into an attraction as well. So that's like, it felt very Muppet movie influence. I like how this did it in a different way. They're not trying to put on a show or something. He's trying to find out about his past. It felt a little more organic in that sense. I think it was just on the whole put on a show thing. I don't know if it necessarily would have read as well as it does. One of the weirder things about this film is that it is going to become a show. Like they pitch this as, I guess, a movie and a show, and Titmouse is involved in both, called like I Heart Arlo. And that I don't know if I really like, because it's very presumptive. Although I think this movie's very good and these characters are really great, and I would totally watch the show actually. That's such a weird thing. It's like you're just like determined that we're all gonna like this thing, and also that it's just like so corporately controlled. Kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And I could see like plot threads that were being set up for the show, because this was just like part of production. It seems like it wasn't like we had this movie and then years later or something. It's like we're getting the show like this year, I believe, which is insane. Certainly how Titmouse uses the animation. I know when Netflix made Over the Moon, they actually had like dancers choreograph the dance moves and stuff for the Over Luminary or Luminary song or whatever that was from Over the Moon. They actually did have people like who are professional dancers and choreographers break that down. It felt like that was going on with some of the musical sequences here. I don't know. I couldn't actually find that out. But and it is interesting that the Netflix animated stuff seems to have that's organically made in Netflix at Netflix, which I believe this was, are more pop song centric, like modern pop songs. Like, I'm wondering if that's like kind of its studio differentiation from like a DreamWorks or from a like kind of the idea of what a Disney song is. They don't go as modern as they go into this. I'm curious how that's going to age, like this kind of pop music, like how I'm going to feel about that in 10, 20 years. I liked all the songs. I thought they worked very well. I liked how they animated them. I think Titmouse is a studio that really loves animation, and it was fun seeing them do a kids thing, because I know they do some kids stuff, but they're mainly known for like adult animation. But this is like, I don't know, just like watching the musical sequences or watching anything that's like, it just had such a beautiful kind of movement to it, especially in certain places, that it really popped out to me. It felt sort of like, even with his dad character wise, reminded me of like Duckman a little bit. It had this kind of like weird 90s animation style to it. I liked kind of how like unconventional this movie really tried to present. It's not like the craziest thing in the world. For a kids film, it's probably a lot more radical, especially for now, especially when it's being marketed the way it is. I sort of like that about it, because you don't see as unconventional and as weird as something like this. Like, this genuinely like wanted to be a weird kids movie, which I thought is actually, pretty commendable as well. I mean, there's a lot of things in this that like I might have rolled my eyes at or something normally, but I was like, I don't know, just morally it's doing the right thing. Character design, I liked all these weirder things. I didn't really like the fish man guy. I didn't really get that didn't really pop out to me, but it has a great voice cast. Annie Potts, Flea, Jennifer Coolidge. The two leads, I do not know their singers. Michael J. Woodard, apparently he is a singer person, good for him, as well as Mary Lambert, who I've heard did stuff with Macklemore, but I don't listen to them because I listen to real hip hop, so I'd never heard of her before. But I like Jonathan Van Ness, and I like the little joke cameo of Jonathan Van Ness in the cartoon, which I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do. I don't know. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan and Queer Eye and all. Obviously, he's down with Netflix, and of course, Tony Hale's just in everything animated at this point. He's a good voice actor, but it's like, Jesus, dude. And I liked its version of New York, which is half like the cliche version of New York and half like real New York, and it's some Art Deco in there, which is New York, but also had like kind of the throw up of not actual city planning that goes into New York, which I like that. It like both seem to like New York and hate it at the same time. It's like if the Critic and Oliver and Company had a baby, and then you'd be like, oh, that baby's ugly, but you love it anyway. I don't know if this is like the top tier of the Netflix animated stuff. So yes, is my top tier, or like Shaun the Sheep or something like that. But this was a really valiant kind of effort. This is something where I don't know if I'll watch again. If my daughter wants to watch again, I will. Whereas Shaun the Sheep, I'm like excited when that comes on. This, I'm like, oh, okay. I had a good time. I like what I was doing pop music wise. I probably might have underappreciated, because when I think of things like Ugly Dolls or other things like that, they don't try as much as this. Like, this movie, like, genuinely as an animated film, tried to be something good, tried to be something different, and maybe I should commend it. Maybe I should stan, as the kids say, or whatever. I did really like it. I liked what it was doing. I like, it didn't feel amazingly different, but when I think of, a lot of kids animated stuff, none of them wanted to achieve as much as this one really did, and I think that's what I really liked about it, because it isn't maybe the greatest thing in the world. It's not something that excited me personally, but it had such a beautiful energy to it. Anytime I see something for it online, I was like, that was a fun movie. And maybe 3-4 times down the line, if I'm stuck with that, maybe I will be a little more positive on it. Maybe I'll be exuberant about it. But as of right now, I just feel like this was a really great effort from Netflix Animation. It shows the possibilities of what they can do, and trying to be like as different as they can be, because they don't have a distinct animation style, but you can tell there's something going on behind the scenes with this stuff. You can tell with the modern pop music, with the dances, with the certain let's accept everybody sort of things. And I know that's in like every kid's movie, but in this one I like actually believed it. And I think that's actually really commendable, because you get pushed that narrative all the time, and I agree with it, but it always feels like just they're checking off corporate boxes, like never give up, believe in yourself kind of crap that they have to put in there. But this is the only time I was like, oh, I actually totally believe in this alligator boy, and I think he might actually sort of achieve his dreams, and I sort of want him to achieve his dreams, and he sort of makes me want to achieve my dreams too. So you can't just really knock that kind of beautiful energy, and I think that's just like wrapped up in the soul and the animation of Arlo the Alligator Boy. So if you've seen Arlo the Alligator Boy and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.